and grind, ladies. Time to rise and grind. Brum, brum, brum. Happy Monday. Happy Monday to you. It's Monday. Can you effing believe it? But it's like don't a lot of people have like vacation this week? Hi, Carrie. How are you, darling? Don't a lot of people have vacation this week? I don't know. Is that true? Does a lot of people have vacation this week? I think they do. I think they do. I think they do. I made a picture for everybody. You've been lounged. How are you, Carrie? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome to Lolo's Lounge. Welcome to Wake and Bake with Lolo. I haven't baked yet, but we're gonna. We're gonna. We're gonna. I'm finding some more resolve and feeling better and stronger for the fight. Carrie, that is excellent news. And I think that feels like exactly the right thing to do is make sure your tanks are full, right? Get that reserve tank. I'm acting like we're Jeeps. Get that reserve tank going and let it happen. I think it's going to be, I don't know what's going to happen. Every day it gets weirder and weirder. I have a bunch of stories for us to read this morning. I don't think nothing's happening in Congress this week. They're all home. That's the best job ever, is what I'm figuring out. From watching them so closely now, they're fucking always off. Now, I understand they have to go home and they're supposed to be like, in their community, but are they? I didn't see Adam Schiff fuck all during August. So, I don't know. Oh, you know what, though? He's probably in town this week. That might be an opportunity. Maybe I'll do some IRL stuff this week. Get the old dinosaur route. I've been a wobbly mess since the election, but I'm enjoying the shit show. Yeah, it's kind of fun to see them fuck around with each other, right? I think that's kind of fun, personally. I mean, here's the thing, and it's kind of unfortunate because, the country is the one that suffers. And by country, I mean people. Their kind of idiocracy of trying to appoint each other and all the nonsense, and now they're fighting with each other, which of course they're fighting with each other because they're all a bunch of egotistical idiots. It is, wait, where's the idiocracy cabinet? Hold on, I think I've got a cabinet here. Hold on. Yes, I do. Oh my, well, no, this is just the, this was a picture. The thirst mutilator. Wait, I need to move. Maddie, move. We got art. That's what we have right now. I can't remember who made this. God damn it. Hi, Neil. How are you, darling? Bonjour. Bonjour, mes amis. Hi, Badger, Badger, Badger. Badger, Badger, Badger. Badger, Badger, Badger. I'm good. I slept a lot this weekend. I slept a lot. It was great. I was really happy. I feel much better now. Yeah, I feel much better. Thanks for asking. But yeah, it just seems to get crazier and crazier. Crazier, crazier. And then I saw yesterday, oh my God, this made me so mad. I'm done, right? With these fucking pundits, I'm done. I hate everything. This is it. So look at this is I hate Ginger Gates so much. I don't even know if there's enough hatred in the world for. No, that's not true. I don't really think about her that much, so I should say that. I don't really give a shit. Anyway, so look at this. Oh, fuck. These need to be up higher. Hold on. I need to put you right over Matt. There. Ginger Gates can suck my dick all day long. Get on your knees, bitch. No, actually, it's fine. She doesn't have to do that. I would never do violence against her. Anyway, here's the point. This is Ginger Gates. So this is what we've elected. No, I didn't. Isn't that shocking? The crazy badger video from the 90s. No, I didn't. I stayed in. I stayed in. One night a week is more than enough for this girl. More than one leaving my house at 9:45 is more than enough. Yeah, the one about Honey Badger doesn't give a fuck. Yeah, exactly. That's our badger. Hello. She doesn't give a fuck. That's right. That's right. That's our badger. Don't do it. Anyway, Ginger Gates hates us. Just so you know. This is the problem. These fucking assholes in the red or whatever. That's not really right. Actually, this is an incorrect electoral map, by the way. Nice try. Nice try, cunt. But that's not an electoral map. So, fuck you. Anyway, so that's good morning from Ginger Gates. Oh, but here, Ginger, you're sleeping with a guy who raped a child. Let me just say that again for you. Hey, bitch. Hey, Ginger, you're sleeping with a dude that raped a child. How do you feel about that? How does that feel? And badger. African snake. Our badger is a honey and doesn't give a fuck either. Ah, Neil, that's so great. That's so great. I know, I love honey badgers. I mean, really, that's the attitude to have. See, they were right all along. We're just being goofy goofs. All right. I have a ton of stuff for us to read this morning, and I know my lovely gal may drop in with more beautiful things. So I'm going to smoke a joint, and I'm going to drink some coffee, and then I'm going to start reading to you. Then I'm going to read to you. Read to me. Anyway, it was a big gulp. Yeah, I have one. I have a few. I have like 5 pieces to read. Wow, that's a lot. Yeah, we love our badger, that's for sure. Badger's been around since the beginning. Badger's an OG. Badger. She's been around since the beginning of spaces for me anyway. I mean, obviously she's been around a lot longer than that. Uh-oh, Paul J. Hi all, I'm a crying mess this morning, not even sure why. That's because you're a human. It's because you're a beautiful human with beautiful big emotions, and sometimes, we used to say this in grief support for kids, sometimes your cup gets full and it just overflows, and that's messy. But guess what? That's also natural. I think we have to... I'm so honored that you shared that with us, Paul. My God. Let us help you not be a crying mess, or let us let you be a crying mess in the midst of this and find whatever you need out of it. So we got you. All right. We're giving you a collective pat on the back, and we're rubbing your back a little bit, and we're saying it's going to be okay. I'm sorry, Paul. I'm sorry you're having a bad morning. Really. Love you. I love you. Thanks for coming in here when you're having the bad morning. That's a gift. It's a gift to give other people, to share your emotions with them. So thank you for sharing those, and hang in there. All right? Hang in there. And you go ahead and be whatever kind of mess you need to be, and then we'll still be here. We'll still be here when you're done. All right. Thanks, Paul. It's good to see you. It's good to see you, darling. I have a lot of stuff to read to you, so I'll put you to sleep, Paul. I'll help you go back to sleep. I'll make sure that you are so incredibly distracted by poor reading comprehension that well everything will be okay from that standpoint. But man, I feel that. I feel that 110%, my darling. So let's fucking do this. Yeah, we are gonna. Carrie was just saying that, like I'm just trying to keep it together. Carla, Paul J, have you heard of our Lord and Savior DJT endorsed by Jesus Christ? Jesus Christ wears his tennis shoes, I'm pretty sure. That's right, Neil says. Don't despair. Things will get better. It is always a little bit of a bell curve, isn't it? Kind of goes up, and then it goes down. Depends on how long you're sitting in the valley. Then it goes up, And sometimes it's a little hill. You go up a little tiny bit, then you go on. But it's the journey. The journey is definitely it. That's one thing I did take away from my dad. The journey is the point, not the destination. So trust and believe that that's I can tell you firsthand that I think that's actually true. So, I'm glad you're here. I don't want to see any. I know that heaviness, and it's just really yucky. Okay, we're gonna stop picking on Paul. Started to read that seriously. I know. I started to read that seriously too. I'm like, oh, Carla's gonna help Paul with some religious outreach. I'm not sure Paul wants that, but okay. Oh God. Well, there you go. We're yeah, I'm dead serious. Yeah, exactly. I was about to snap. Oh. What do you guys? I don't come here to be sermonized. Although, yeah, I can see Carla being dead serious that, yeah, it's time to accept and it's time to accept our leader. Endorsed by Jesus Christ, who might have to drop out of the running. Because he's got that little temple uprising thing in his past. Problematic Jesus. Oh my God, stop making me laugh so much in the morning. I don't laugh as much in the morning. Let's see. Which one do I want to read first? I kind of want to read this. I kind of want to read Ruth Ben Giat and really get depressed. So let's start there. Hi, oomph. Wait, seriously, maybe Lolo is. Oh no! Oh no! 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 Not this! Not this idiot! No! Not even as a joke. Not even as a joke. I wouldn't even be your anything even as a joke. I'm not that. No. But that's really nice. Let's see. I want that one next. I'm gonna line these up. And then I want that one. Okay. I'm gonna start with these. Oh God, these I got 3 really, really important things first. Hi Teresa, how are you? How are you? Yeah, a little. I mean, Paul. I hope you're enjoying my new Maddie Gates picture. You've been lounged. That's little Maddie Gates. Let's see, we're gonna make him smaller. We'll put him up here. Hey, you've been lounged. And then Brondo, I guess we could put somewhere else. The thirst mutilator. I can't. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. All right, where's the other? Oh, shit balls. Okay. All right. Okay. Here we go. Make this a little smaller. Make this a little smaller. Good news. Hey, Teresa Carter. Good news. Paul J. I watched that the other night. Wait, which one did you watch the other night? Did I say something? Oh, Idiocracy? We watch it all the time. And we're seeing it in real life. We've got a live performance of it right now. Interestingly enough. I watched that the other night. Yeah. Yes. I know. It's totally it's actually makes me mad to watch it because I'm like, God, this is actually there's things we're doing right now that are like this, and I'm like, oh my God. Hey, please share the broadcast. Let's build up our morning. Let's get more people into this brain space in the morning. Why not? All right, I'm going to read you this first thing. I know. I tend to, I just want to read the people that I want to read. It's not like I want to depress you all the time. I really don't. I really don't mean to depress you all the time. But, here we go. January 6th is a foundational event for the coming American autocracy. This was written by Ruth Ben-Ghiat on November 20th of this year. So it's new. Let me make this a little bigger so people can see it. Might be better. That might be better. Oh, that might be better. All right. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay. So this is her Substack. This is Ruth's Substack. So I thought I would go ahead and check in with her, what she's written lately, and this looked very interesting. January 6th is a foundational event for the coming American autocracy by Ruth Ben-Ghiat. All right, settle in, get your coffee. Here we go. We need to stay aware, but we also have to have some fun. Hell yeah. Oh, that actually is imperative. The fun part is imperative. Many of you have written to me since the election expressing your worries about possible political violence nationally and in your communities. Over the past weeks, I've been immersed in the study of that grim subject. I gave the Gerald Post lecture keynote at a symposium on perspectives on political violence at the University of California, Irvine, and I participated in a workshop on political violence organized by Professor Barbara Walter at the University of California, San Diego. This is the first in a series of essays about political violence and how to combat it. Here I focus on January 6th as a historic event that prepared the psychological, social, and political climate for an authoritarian politics of violence by breaking taboos against assaulting the Capitol and hunting down lawmakers. With each blow, the mob declared that nothing was sacred and anyone could be targeted for harm or death. Without January 6th, there would likely be no Trump 2.0. From fascism onward, authoritarians have believed in violence as the way to move history forward and create new realities to get things done when other methods do not succeed. Only through force do we make any change in a corrupt town like Washington, D.C., declared then Representative Matt Gaetz, now the former nominee for Attorney General, at a campaign event for Trump in Iowa last summer, expressing this conception of violence as a lever of change. Authoritarians hollow out institutions, voiding them of any values and professionalism beyond loyalty to the leader, but they also hollow out people. Strong men need to bring everyone around them down to their level of corruption and depravity. To show their loyalty, elites compete to be the most sycophant and self-abasing, doing anything the leader asks, no matter how criminal, and going along with the inevitable escalations of violence and corruption. This hollowing out of political elites is a precondition for a political party to institutionalize violence. In pledging support to a brutal demagogue, you are sooner or later required to betray not only your compatriots, but also yourself. As political violence spirals, you can become a target of that demagogue no matter how loyal you've been in the past. No matter how traumatic your experience, you will likely stay silent and continue to support the man who incited violence against you. You may rationalize this as being necessary to keep your status in the party, but it will be harder and harder to escape the truth. By accepting his violence, you have validated the strong man's mantra, I am everything, and you are nothing. The world saw a version of this scenario on and after January 6, when Trump unleashed a violent mob on Republican as well as Democratic lawmakers and their staff members who had to run for their lives, many barely escaping an encounter with MAGA extremists. How tragic that after an initial period when few GOP politicians denounced Trump, the party quickly labeled January 6 as a protest or a tourist visit gone awry. The terror of those hours at the Capitol and the phone calls to loved ones as the violence began around them became forbidden subjects. And so they stayed quiet and settled into rituals designed to mirror their lack of self-regard, being humiliated by Trump in public, having their spouses insulted, and humiliating themselves for his delight, as in August 2023, when rival candidates for the GOP nomination, including former Vice President Mike Pence, who was targeted for harm by Trump on January 6 for disloyalty, pledged on live television to support Trump, even if he became a convicted felon. The specter of violence, the mob that the all-powerful Trump turned against them and could activate again, continues to haunt the GOP, even as the party invents other targets: immigrants who eat cats and dogs, childless cat ladies, radical left professors and prosecutors, vermin. No wonder that instead of enjoying their party's victory in the recent election, GOP politicians fear their physical safety if they defy Trump's agenda, Vanity Fair journalist Gabriel Sherman reports. A high-level MAGA person told me they should be afraid. They didn't win the election, Trump did. January 6 radicalized the GOP, accelerating its transformation into an entity dependent on lying, corruption, and the threat and reality of violence against internal enemies. But it is fear, as well as fanaticism, that has kept the GOP disciplined in the years since the insurrection, no one wanting to be a target. Oh no, wait, what happened? We need to stay awake but have some fun. Yeah, exactly. I didn't shock you. Oh, Carla, it's okay. It was funny. Made me laugh. Eventually, Paul laughed. First, he thought he was being proselytized, but no. Yeah, now we're all back to normal. Let's see. Because Donald Trump won the 2024 U.S. election, we did not see the expected waves of political violence from below in November, nor was it necessary to stage some form of replay of the January 6 coup attempt. Instead, we're bracing for the start of institutionalized violence from above. On day one, mass deportations of undocumented people will supposedly start, assisted by the U.S. military, or so the incoming administration hopes. I know, me too, though, Paul. Authoritarianism is the conversion of the rule of law into the rule by the lawless. It makes perfect sense that a convicted felon and a man who has sent the violent mob into the Capitol on his behalf would initiate an American autocracy. No wonder many Americans fear consequences in their daily lives, such as hate crimes from local armed extremists who will feel more protected and empowered. Day one may be about deporting immigrants, but millions of other Americans will live in fear that they will be discriminated against or harmed. Muslims, Jews, LGBTQ plus individuals, the disabled, the political opposition, journalists, prosecutors, judges, scientists. The list goes on. This is why we must remember and revisit Jan 6. The thugs who hunted down lawmakers and assaulted Capitol police officers on Jan 6 will likely soon be pardoned, and the history of that violence further erased. I feel sick every time I see those images and experience the sounds of a grisly, grunting, intimate violence that the New York Times critic James Paniwazek compared to a horror movie. Yet we cannot turn away from the lying, the violence, and the worship of a morally depraved individual who has been elevated to the status of instrument of God's will and savior of the nation. Fascists believe you have to destroy to create, and January 6 has already been canonized because of its violence as a foundational moment of the new era of Trumpism. If authoritarian history is any guideline, January 6 could become a holiday one day. Yikes. Oh boy. Oh boy. Here we go. This is a little thing. This is about Russ Vought. I was looking up about Russ Vought last night. This is from ABC. Trump names Project 2025 architect to top post. President-elect Donald Trump selected Ross Vought, a key architect of Project 2025, as his director of the U.S. Office of Management and Budget. He held in the prior administration.
Trump transition team has been moving very, very fast since the election. The president-elect has announced names for 20 key administrative posts so far. Here to update us on what's happening is ABC's Molly Nagel, joining us from our Washington bureau. Molly, good to see you this Sunday. Trump tried to distance himself from something called Project 2025. That was talked about a lot during the campaign. At some points, he said he doesn't really know what it is. He doesn't know the people who are doing it. But now he's tapped an architect for a key role. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, Ross Vought is somebody who...
Why are we pretending? Why are we pretending? This is the problem. That little comment right there, that little toss by the fucking supposedly mainstream media guy, that little toss to her, no big dealing it. Language is very important in this moment when you're describing things.
Who is going to now fill Trump's Office of Budget and Management nomination. That's a job that he actually held during the first Trump administration. And that's a job that has a lot of insight or oversight of the president's agenda. He oversees the budget and helps to implement it across various agencies. So a significant role there. But Vought obviously has a very strong ties to this Project 2025 proposal, which would seek to drastically overhaul the federal government to expand the powers of the presidency and really cut down on some federal agencies, things like the Department of Education, for example.
This guy is the scary guy.
But he's not the only member of Trump's administration who has ties to this project. When you talk about Tom Homan, Trump's border czar, Brendan Carr, his pick for FCC chair, Stephen Miller, all of these folks have ties to this proposal that, as you mentioned, he really did try to create some distance between himself on the campaign trail from that proposal. So what we are seeing now is that Trump heading into office actually bringing in some people who have some pretty significant ties to this thing that he once called extreme.
Well, Republicans avoided a pretty huge fight when Matt Gaetz withdrew as Trump's AG nominee. There is a lot of controversy about the pick for Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. What can you tell us more about that?
Well, we know that Hegseth has come under scrutiny for facing sexual assault allegations. Obviously no charges were brought against him, but he is one of the picks that Donald Trump has had up on Capitol Hill meeting with senators, trying to, get a sense of where they are and have them hear him out and hear his case. He's also one of these candidates that is perhaps the more controversial of Donald Trump's nominees. When you're talking about Hegseth, talking about Tulsi Gabbard or RFK Jr.
They're all controversial.
Might have a bit of a tough time getting through the confirmation process because Republicans really only have a narrow majority in the Senate. So they can only afford to lose a couple votes on any one of these nominations to get them through in the traditional order if all Democrats oppose these nominations. So Donald Trump,
he's not going to have to worry about that on January 20th.
Now, saying that this is his cabinet, that he is excited to see them go through this nomination process and wants it to get done in a swift manner so they can hit the ground running come January.
Molly, Trump and his team moving much faster than they did in 2016.
What?
Does that speed indicate anything about the next 4 years?
Who is this douche whistle?
That we're not yet 3 weeks out from the election, and we're seeing Donald Trump essentially
Why is it so hard to say child rape?
Here's my cabinet. We're all finished. This is a very
different child
than he used during his first administration. But I think the important thing to remember here is in 2016, Donald Trump had not held office before. He was coming into this very new, very green, maybe unsure of what they were going to face. This time around, it's very different. They have had 4 years in the White House, and they understand what they need to do and how this kind of plays out and how this process can go. So clearly learning from their experience 8 years ago doing this the first time around, moving much faster and looking to get people in place a lot quicker than they did the first time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Molly
it's just a big
Molly,
speed operation here. Yeah, that's right. It's just a big speed operation. That's right. What the fuck? What the fuck? Listen, media, that was a perfect example of you normalizing something that is absolutely not normal. It is absolutely not normal to have so many rapists as potential cabinet members. Stop normalizing this. Stop it. I'm begging. I know there's 12 people watching today, so literally probably the media doesn't really give a shit what I have to say, which I understand. In fact, nobody really does. But this is so ridiculous to me. This is so ridiculous to me. This is not I don't actually recognize this country. I'm sorry. I don't actually recognize this country. I don't. It's tenderizing people for what is coming, and that piece, Neil, when you said that he can't afford to expel all those migrants, it won't happen. Not only is Russ the kind of person who could find the money for it, as importantly, that is exactly the wrong attitude. Is that what you then say? Think about what that says. He can't afford to expel all those migrants. They literally are okay with the treatment of humans like this. Okay? Like, that's the point. The point is that you have just normalized mass deportation. In your head, you've said, well, but he could never do that, so I should not really worry about that because he's not going to do it. Well, that's the point. Mission accomplished. You have been a little bit tenderized for this. Yes, Max. Yeah, douche whistle. I love douche whistle. I don't know why douche whistle it doesn't make any sense, actually. I think whistle's just a great word. I think that's where I landed on that. I like the word whistle. Just look at current reservations. You'll see why they're okay with. Yeah, exactly. Yes, Carla. Thank you. Yeah, one need only look to Native American communities that are subjugated through the reservation, farce, which is why do they only get a certain amount of, what? CNP. I'm glad you asked. It's the Council for National Policy. We'll read a little bit about them. I guess we're looking at probable selective enforcement. Yeah, probably, right? I mean, that would make sense more than anything. More than anything, that would make sense. More than anything. But I mean, that's the point, that Overton window, whatever you want to call it, I just feel like what I'm seeing is a bunch of people completely prepped and ready to, reservations are basically concentration camps. Yeah. Yeah. We have to do much better. And this is, I don't know what's going to happen. I honestly, I can't believe that this particular administration is capable enough of pulling together some of that. But to me, there's as much damage. Well, not as much, but there's damage enough from the fear of what they could do. So I don't know. Yeah, I want to do something. I don't know. All right, let's. I want to read this because Charles Flynn just resigned, or just retired. Not resigned, retired. And there's some stuff happening. We need to keep an eye on the Flynn family because, frankly, I think that's part of the goal here, is that part of MAGA world is acting in public in one way, look at Pete Hegseth, Sean Duffy, look over here. And they're making all these ridiculously stupid appointments. And then the real news to me is people what's happening with Charles Flynn, who is Mike Flynn's brother and is head of the Pacific, or was head of the Pacific Armed Forces. Okay. Under Trump, on Jan 6, now, here. Anyway. Okay. So let's read. I want to read Jim's piece from yesterday. Is that from yesterday? What is today? No, 2 days ago. This is 2 days ago. I expect Trump and his gang will try to expel migrants from Democratic states first as a test to delay horrid results in his GOP states base. I wonder about that, Neil, because, one of the things they say is, oh, we're going to get rid of sanctuary cities and all that stuff. I'm not sure how they're going to send federal enforcement into a state to do that. Because I don't think that's allowed. I mean, I don't know. Well, no, I guess they can deploy National Guard, huh? I thought governors were the ones who could just deploy National Guard. I don't know. But anyway, I can see that being a mess too. Well, I don't know. Gavin Newsom told us it's all going to be okay and we're going to become our own country. That's a good piece by Jim, as usual. I know. It is really, I don't know. I really need to be like, I'm looking for what's happening around the circus. What's happening outside the circus tent? They're declaring, oh, totally, Paul. 100%, babe. 100%. All right, let's see this. This is from Jim Substack. We're at Substack morning. We're sub-snacking. That's what I like to call it when we have a lot of Substacks. We're sub-snacking. Cover up of a cover up. Oh, wait. What are you doing here? Okay, there's a candle there. What are you doing? I have a cat. All right, go ahead. Don't look at me. I'm holding this so you don't get burned. I don't know where you're going. Hold on. You got a catastrophe happening here. Let me move everything. Hold on. There, go ahead. Go ahead. There you go. Oh my God. Such a diva. I'm a diva. I'm a diva. You want to see outside? You want to look at the birds? Okay. All right. Sorry. We had a bird emergency. We had a bird emergency. Easily. How are you? Easily distracted. That's a good beat. Yep. Mass Governor Turney has already said she won't allow state police to help Trump expel migrants. Excellent. Love it. Love it. Once I told a telemarketer that my cat was on fire. Well, it can happen. But that's okay. I'll save him. Okay, here we go. Sorry. Little itch. I'm going to try and get my arthritis medicine resolved this week. I'm so, I have such anxiety about medical phone calls. It's a long story, but I have such anxiety when I have to have to talk to pharmacists and doctors and insurance companies. It just, the whole process makes me have an anxiety attack. Did they try to sell you a cat fire extinguisher? Ooh, they have those? All right. A congressional report intentionally delayed until after the election is a smoking gun. As I have written extensively, General Charles Flynn was an active participant in the criminal conspiracy that led to the January 6th insurrection. He hosted the phone call that delayed National Guard for 3 hours, giving the throng of QAnons, Proud Boys, and neo-Nazis that his brother, retired Lieutenant General Mike Flynn, had organized time to overtake the Capitol and try to hang Mike Pence.
We need an area for the House members. They're all walking over now through the tunnels.
I'm going to call up the effing Secretary of DOD. We have some senators who are still in their hideaways. They need massive personnel now. Can you get the Maryland National Guard to come too?
I have something to say, Mr. Secretary. Well, I'm going to call the mayor of Washington, D.C. right now and see what other outreach she has to other police departments as Senate leader.
This cannot be just we're waiting for so-and-so. We need them there now, whoever you got.
You have.
Okay.
You also have troops. This is Steny Hoyer. Troops.
Okay, so we have a little
Fort
bit of time
McNair,
to make that decision.
Andrews Air Force Base.
All right.
Other military bases.
Thank you.
We
Thanks,
need
Paul. Bye.
active duty National Guard.
How soon in the future can you have the place evacuated and pulled, cleaned out?
I don't want to speak for the leadership that's going to be responsible for executing the operation. So I'm not going to say that because they're on the ground and they're the experts.
Well, just pretend for a moment it was the Pentagon or the White House or some other entity that was under siege. And let me say, you can logistically get people there as you make the plan.
I never saw that clip before. I never saw that clip before of them pleading with Miller. That was the voice on the phone at that last phone call from the other end. The acting, I guess, was he an acting secretary of DOD? Now I don't even remember, but I'm sure Jim says it here. Wow, we just, January 6th was such an opportunity to uncover anti-democratic individuals within our government. I'm going to say that again. January 6th and an investigation thereof would have uncovered people who were inherently anti-democratic. And we didn't do anything about it. We didn't do anything about it. I don't understand how we got here. I really don't. I don't understand how we got here without going after people who planned this. I don't understand that. I think Merrick Garland must be complicit. I think he must be, something must be being held over his head. I don't get it. I'm sorry. I'm angry. I'm really angry. Yeah, we watched that, Carrie, the Chris Miller and Jill Winebanks and wonderful Victor Shi. Or he's just so held back by some kind of sense of white man. I can't hurt my fellow white man. I don't know. There's something there. I'm sorry. I don't believe this. I don't believe any of this. I don't believe that this isn't some kind of fucking white man's thing. Merrick Garland's best friend and mentor is Kushner's lawyer and the person responsible for getting him White House access that he never should have had, Jamie Gorelick. Yeah, no, I know he's Federalist Society. I know. I can't fucking believe that. I don't even know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. All right, let's read this. I know. We'll watch that again. I love seeing Chris Miller lose his shit because he's all fucking pilled up. The Army first denied Charles Flynn was present on the call, then admitted it, and nevertheless allowed Flynn to take command of the U.S. Army Pacific in charge of more than 100,000 service members. This decision was based on a completely false Defense Department Inspector General's report that covered up for the broad participation of Pentagon personnel in ensuring J6 could be executed. The facts are clear. Trump decapitated the Pentagon after he lost the 2020 election and installed people willing to participate in an attempt to keep power anyway. The coup at the Pentagon. 2 weeks ago, 3 days after the election, Charles Flynn suddenly announced his retirement from the military. I'm going to say that again. 2 weeks ago. And that means 2 weeks ago. 3 days after the election, Charles Flynn suddenly announced his retirement from the military, seemingly in the prime of his career. Why? Charles Flynn's post, 11/8/24. After 39 years of service to our nation, I'm retiring from the U.S. Army. Today I pass the colors to my successor, General Ronald Clark. During the change of command ceremony, as I reflect on my decades of service, I'm filled with gratitude and pride. Yeah, Ollie's definitely part of it. No, and he's not a planner, but he should definitely be in prison. Jim, you're right. I want Steve Bannon. I want Mike Flynn. I want Charles Flynn. I want Kash Patel. I want Roger Stone. I want Alex Jones. I want Mike Flynn. It appears we got the answer yesterday when, in a Friday night news dump, the House Subcommittee on Oversight, chaired by MAGA lunatic Barry Loudermilk, released a report that says the Department of Defense was complicit in intentionally concealing the delay in sending National Guard on J6. I'm going to read that again. They released a report that says the Department of Defense was, quote, complicit in intentionally concealing, end quote, the delay in sending National Guard on J6. From the report, the inability, I have that report pulled up too. I think it's not very long. The inability of the DOD-IG to adequately review these and other DOD actions on January 6 has informed the subcommittee's finding that DOD-IG is complicit in intentionally concealing DOD actions to delay the DCNG's response to the Capitol on January 6. So this report came out a couple of weeks, or actually, when did it come out? I can't remember. Oh, Friday night. Have you heard about this report on the news? Did you hear about this report over the weekend? However, the report blames the entire failure on Secretary of the Army Ryan McCarthy, which is simply false. This is a cover-up of a cover-up. I want to see what the full letter, how long that is. Hold on. Let me see. Oh, I hate Adobe Acrobat. I hate you very much. Okay, how many pages is that? I'm going to e-sign it. No. All right, we'll probably read that, okay? But let me go back to Jim's. It was not mentioned in my weekend media trivia. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. During your media consumption this weekend, did you hear anything about this report? I don't think you did. No, I just don't recall. However, the report, okay, yeah, here's a timeline of events. 11/3/20, Trump loses. 11/10, Trump decapitates Pentagon, installs Mike Flynn allies Ezra Cohen, Kash Patel, Chris Miller, Anthony Tata, Douglas McGregor. 11/30, Trump releases pardon for Mike Flynn. 11/30 on the same day, Trump nominates Charles Flynn for 4 stars. 12/17/20, Mike Flynn proposes martial law to rerun elections in swing states. He said it on TV. It's on TV. 12/18, Mike Flynn meets Trump in the White House with Rudy Giuliani, Patrick Byrne, Sidney Powell, and others. On that same day, Trump tweets, "Will be wild," about 1/6. On 12/19, within hours, Acting Secretary of Defense Chris Miller shuts down communication with the Biden transition. Remember that? The Pentagon, remember that? Do you remember that? They were closing for the holidays. Remember that? Yeah, I remember that. I do. 1/5/21. Actually, you know what this doesn't talk about is where's that Jericho march? I wonder if that should, I mean, I know he talks about it, but maybe not in this context. 1/5/21. Mike Flynn gives a speech in front of the Capitol exhorting digital soldiers to, quote, sacrifice the next day, and compares non-existent dead voters in the 2020 election to dead soldiers in Normandy. 1/6. Mike Flynn allies direct assault on the Capitol, including Army veterans who previously worked for Mike and or Charles Flynn in Afghanistan, including convicted Proud Boy leader Joe Biggs and Mike Flynn's PSYOP co-author, Boone Cutler, who's also a pussy because he blocked me on Twitter. Yeah, Biden did get a transition. 120, Inauguration Day. The Army changes its story about Charles Flynn's participation on 1/6 and admits he hosted the call after denying it for 2 weeks. 125, Trump appointed Chief of the Staff of the Army, James McConville, announces Charles Flynn promotion to Commanding General of 100,000 troops. Oh, really? Have been reviewing National Guard appendix of J6. Is that the one written by that guy? What was his name? I can't remember now. The Major General or whatever his name was. I can't recall now. I remember we read it a little bit ago, a while ago. 6/4/2021, Charles Flynn promoted to Commanding General, I guess. 11/18, 2021, I imagine. DOD Inspector General report finds Pentagon leaders acted appropriately on J6. November 18th, 2021. Here, Matthews. December 6th, Colonel Earl Matthews, yeah, this one, of the National Guard, attorney to D.C. National Guard Commanding General on January 6, William Walker, issues a 36-page report calling Charles Flynn and Lieutenant General William Platt of being absolute liars and says the IG report is worthy of the best North Korean or Stalinist propaganda. Here's Charles Flynn with his brothers Mike and Joe, along with now convicted racketeer QAnon lawyer Sidney Powell, a month before the 2020 election. Oh, Joe Flynn, you can suck my big D. That's right, you, Joey. Come on, get down there. No, I'm just kidding. Love conquers all. Fuck you. Look at how tall she is. What the fuck's going on with this sweater, bitch? That is not fashionable. What is going on? Oh, Sydney. You need a MAGA makeover. Given the Defense Department's actions, inactions, and the timing of this, I can only come to the conclusion that the entire chain of command made the decision to cover up its own participation in the events of January 6, and to allow enemies of America to not only go free, but to receive lifetime retirement benefits as a reward. It's a disgrace and a very bad sign of things to come. I want to go back up here. Where's the report? There it is. This is a press release. Where's the report though? Hold on. I don't know where my glasses are. All right, we'll read this. Let me make it bigger though. I think Biden thought we could just normal the whole situation out. I wonder if that's right. God, Carrie, I feel like that's just so ridiculous, though, given everything that we've seen, you know, and given the amount of information that's available on Twitter. I just don't understand this. I don't understand why journalists didn't pick up more with what was happening in the OSINT community necessarily, like on a wider scale. I don't understand why there wasn't more like coordination between mainstream media and OSINT as an example of how to get this information, because I think that could be a really helpful relationship. I don't know why maybe it happens and I just don't see it, but whatever. Anyway, there's that. And then I think there is this kind of white man, I don't want to do this to you because you're going to do it to me thing. I don't know. I just don't even get it. And then Fareed Zakaria, did you see fucking Fareed Zakaria yesterday? Oh my God. Hold on. I gotta fucking show you that. Oh fuck, man. I was so angry. Where's that? Of course, he doesn't have a blue sky. Oh my God. I just can't believe this fucking happened. I can't believe this is where we are. I really, really, really fucking can't. I can't. I don't know how dumb everybody is. Dumb, fucking dumb. No, I'm gonna. Here we go. Jesus Christ on a cracker. Can't believe this shit. Oh my God. Okay, here we go. Here's Fareed's take. this is yesterday.
Not any kind of department inside. Here's my take. Of Donald Trump's recent announcements, the one that intrigues, even excites me the most, is the establishment of DOGE, the misnamed Department of Government Efficiency. Misnamed because it is really a non-governmental advisory body that will work with the White House, not any kind of department inside government. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, who will be in charge of DOGE, are both brilliant, and the federal government has clearly become too expansive and it's too cumbersome. There are over 180,000 pages of federal regulations. Surely it's worth taking a close look at them and retiring many. Observers have pointed out that the duo's efforts will be much harder to achieve than they imagine. Washington may be quite inefficient, but most of what it does is write checks with great efficiency. Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, unemployment insurance, and other mandatory programs make up around 60% of the federal budget.
It's taking care of people.
Trump has often said he would protect most of the spending.
Most?
Next is the Department of Defense at over $800 billion.
Which part is he getting rid of?
Which has generally been considered untouchable for political reasons, though it is probably the
department he's canceled, by the way. Fareed is canceled, in my mind. I don't know about you guys.
Air forces. The Air Force itself, the Army's Air Force, the Navy's Air Force, and that of the Marines. After the Pentagon comes interest on the debt, also untouchable, which is almost as large as the Pentagon's budget. What is now left is about 15% of the federal budget, which includes certain veterans' benefits, agricultural subsidies, spending on roads and highways, etc. To achieve the $2 trillion spending cuts that Musk has often talked about, he would need to eliminate all of this spending and all of the Pentagon spending, and then he'd still have work to do. But I do support the impulse to reform, and not just because I think it will force greater scrutiny and efficiency to government, which needs it. The duo will also force the country, and especially the Republican Party, to confront a reality that it has danced around for decades. The modern Republican Party was forged in opposition to Franklin Roosevelt's New Deal.
Liberal.
Since the 1930s, the party's strongest ideologues have promised to repeal the New Deal and dismantle the architecture of the federal government that was largely constructed by FDR. But they never did. The first Republican president to occupy the White House after FDR and Truman was Dwight Eisenhower, who largely accepted Roosevelt's legacy. Next, in 1968, came Richard Nixon, who actually expanded it, establishing new agencies like the EPA.
Well, then I guess you're
a version of universal health care, believe it or not.
So then I guess
this infuriated conservatives who kept urging rollback. Ronald Reagan came to political prominence in a nationally televised speech he made on Barry Goldwater's behalf against a growing government and deeply skeptical of farm subsidies and programs like Medicare and Social Security, warning of socialism
that would
doom the American Republic to a future of tyranny and unfreedom. But of course, during his 2 terms in office, Reagan never seriously tried to repeal Social Security or Medicare. In fact, federal debt held by the public as a percentage of GDP grew under Reagan. It's worth noting that the only president to balance the budget since 1969
is fucking Clinton. Yep, we know.
Ramaswamy and Musk have both taken to posting a clip of economist Milton Friedman on their social media, in which he argues for a very limited role for the federal government. Ironically, this role would not seem to envision any support for things like EVs and civilian space programs, which have helped create the bulk of Elon Musk's fortune. But what decades of public policy seem to have revealed is that Friedman's vision has little support in the US. We are where we are because the American public has voted for Republican levels of taxation and Democratic levels of spending, which leaves a gap.
Oh, is that it? Oh, that's all we voted for? Oh, that's what we voted for, Fareed? Fuck you.
Path, especially when you consider
Fuck you, Fareed. Fuck off.
As more and more baby boomers retire.
Fucking plagiarist.
Slashing federal spending dramatically will almost certainly cause an economic downturn.
No shit.
Recall Europe's experiment with austerity in the 2010s.
Yeah, let's do
The
that.
central lesson of macroeconomic policy in recent decades has been that government spending now constitutes a large enough part of the economy.
And how
that
was the
cutting
economy
it
doing
drastically
during the
can
last
lead to a
3
downward
years,
spiral
Fareed?
of reduced consumer spending and declining confidence. Your expenditure is my income.
God.
The US federal government is smaller than much of the industrialized world in terms of spending as a percentage of GDP. It still desperately needs reform and streamlining. But conservatives have long argued that it needs to be much, much smaller.
And where? How?
In fact, a good part of the rage that has built up among parts of
And
the
you just
Republican
proved why
base
they're
over
wrong.
decades has been centered on the notion that party leaders have promised repeal again and again, but never delivered. With DOGE, we may finally get an effort to actually deliver on the central Republican promise of the last 70 years.
Why? What?
And we will find out what America thinks of it.
What? What? I watched the last part until now. I'm telling you right now, I don't know. Hold on, shut up. He ignores the fact. Okay, I quit watching him a long time ago too, actually. But I just saw this pop up on my feed, and I'm like, yeah. How about getting rid of the Department of what's going on in my cooter? Carla, that wins. That's a really good one. Yeah, the VA is already in trouble. I mean, he just went through the exercise of where the money is spent. Okay? He went through the exercise of where the money is spent. And of course, you can have like cost-cutting measures within a department. You might want to look at but you're not talking about magnitudes of dollars. I'm sorry, you're just not. You're not talking about magnitudes of dollars. Okay? Only time will tell. In newspapers, we told columnists never end with only time will tell. Fareed just did that. That's right. Neil, our newspaper man, tells you how fucking ridiculous that reporting just was. So Republicans win all their races fair and square? Sure, Jan. He ignores the fact that while a majority of Americans oppose what Trump plans, Trump intends to push his ideas opposition by Americans be damned. Exactly, Neil. Exactly. And Carrie, yes, Joe Biden knows you can't starve a country into success. I'm sorry, but I think that this is why I keep fighting with people on the internet, which I'm going to stop doing. But my fight with people on the internet is stop navel gazing. Like, stop looking at your belly button. Okay? Yeah, sure, you can complain about Democrats and they're this and they're that and they're stupid and they're whatever and whatever. I don't give a shit. Complain about them all day long. But they are not the reason we lost this election. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it. The reason we lost this election was because of disinformation. Because of what Fareed Zakaria just pushed forward, that somehow the last 3 years didn't happen. Somehow we didn't get the CHIPS Act passed. Somehow we didn't get infrastructure projects happening. Somehow we didn't cut child poverty. Somehow we're no longer having bodies rest in morgue trucks outside hospitals. No longer are we actually in Afghanistan. But he just ignores all of that. Just ignore it. Ignore it. Because he accepted the Overton window. I'm sorry. I'm calling bullshit. He and his ilk of people that somehow claim this is an us problem. He is the one who accepted and gulped the Overton window. So I'm not the idiot that gulped the Overton window. You are. You are. And now women are dying. And that's just the start of it. I only say women are dying because that just is the tip of the iceberg. Neil, if Fareed had filed a column like that, the desk would have thrown it back at him to add substance, and Fareed would have to run to the managing editor who'd overrule the desk and run the piece. Yeah. Yeah. Yikes, Mikes. Makes me so mad. Okay, go away. And we just want to read this fucking letter. Hi. Hi, who's on my chair? Okay, let me see. How do I view this bigger? I don't even know. Oh, there we go. Zoom. There we go. Oops. I need it a little smaller, I guess. Oops. Oh, okay. Oh, there we go. All right, so this is Loudermilk's letter. I'll find the report. I don't know if I saw that. I think I thought I had the report, but maybe I didn't. Okay, I got to find that report. Okay. Yeah, I've got to find that report. All right, so this is Loudermilk's letter from the committee, the House committee. Dear Inspector General Storch, the Committee on House Administration Subcommittee on Oversight is tasked with investigating the intelligence and security failures at the United States Capitol. Oh, hi. Oh, hi. 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 You want to say hi to everybody? Come here. Look it. Can you say hi? Sammy, can you say hi? Can you say hi? No? Oh, don't. Please don't. No. Okay. No, don't do that. Okay, here we go. We have to cut back on household expenses. No more buying food. Fareed. Only time will tell if the Republicans follow through on their quest for smaller government. I agree with everything you said. Harris was the fall ladies. Oh, good morning, butterflies. Meow. Yeah, it's just, hi. I know, I love you too. Ban that avocado toast. Yeah, exactly. Austerity. Oh my God. Yikes, Mikes. Okay. Dear Inspector General Storch, the committee, blah, 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 on January 6th, and to develop effective legislation, such as enacting new policies that will better protect the Capitol. A major, A major component of the security apparatus on January 6th was the Department of Defense, specifically the role, responsibilities, and actions of the District of Columbia National Guard in response to the civil unrest and its aftermath at the Capitol. Yeah, we won't have avocados. This is November 21st, by the way. I love you guys saying hi to each other. I love that. Yes, Fareed speaks from intellectual and financial privilege. And didn't he get in trouble for plagiarism? I remember kind of standing up for him in that. And I'm like, I regret that. Always go with your gut. As you know, on November 16th, 2021, the Department of Defense Office of Inspector General published report number blah, review of the DoD's role, responsibilities, and actions to prepare for and respond to the protest and its aftermath at the U.S. Capitol campus on January 6, 2021. Whew. This report was the final, you should have heard the first title. No. This report was the final product of the IG's review into the events of January 6 and reviewed how the DoD responded to requests for support as the events unfolded. While the subcommittee appreciates the IG's crucial review of the records and materials the DoD holds regarding that day, this report has left many unanswered questions regarding the DoD's actions on and in the days leading up to January 6. Given the D.C. National Guard's history of success supporting both the federal government and the city government in responding to instances of civil unrest, and the significant role they played in ensuring the safety and security of members of Congress at the Capitol on January 6, it is essential that the report is accurate. That is essential for the subcommittee to identify the serious problems, abuses, and deficiencies, to recommend corrective actions consistent with the Inspector General Act of 1978. Throughout the subcommittee's extensive investigation into the failures of January 6, we have discovered numerous flaws and inaccuracies in the report that your office has yet to appropriately address. Oh my God. We're going to find that fucking report. After a thorough examination of emails, documents, including letters, memorandums, agreements, plans, orders, reports, briefings, statements made in congressional hearings, closed-door testimony to the Select Committee to investigate the January 6 attack on the U.S. Capitol, the Select Committee, and closed-door testimony made to the IG, the subcommittee's investigation has concluded that the Department of Defense intentionally, I never get my notifications either, butterflies. I feel like they go to my email, and I just don't check my email all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to change that. But anyway, I hear you. It's frustrating. Let's see. Where am I going with this? Furthermore, the subcommittee also maintains that the IG I'm going to slow down on this. Furthermore, the subcommittee also maintains, this is fucking Barry Loudermilk. He's a dick. And he's writing this. Also maintains that the DoD IG knowingly concealed the extent of the delay in constructing a narrative that is favorable to DoD and Pentagon leadership. Have we demanded the IG resign? Are they gone already? I don't know. I don't get it. In March 2021, D.C. National Guard Major General William Walker testified before Congress. Yeah. That their response to the Capitol on January 6 was delayed by senior DoD officials. In April 2024, Colonel Earl Matthews, Major General Walker's legal advisor, Command Sergeant Major Michael Brooks, Major General Walker's senior enlisted officer, Brigadier General Aaron Dean, Major General Walker's adjutant general, and Captain Timothy Nick, Major General Walker's aide-de-camp, testified that the Secretary of the Army, Ryan McCarthy, was not in communication with the D.C. National Guard and that their response to the Capitol was, quote, most certainly delayed by the Army. These key D.C. National Guard personnel were intentionally not included as witnesses by the IG. The subcommittee is deeply concerned that the IG's failure to interview witnesses who testified to a contradictory account of events of January 6 erode any suggestion that this report is correct or unbiased. Further, one of the most damaging claims published within the report are quotes attributed to non-senior Army individuals who claimed that in Major General Walker's March 2021 testimony before Congress, the two-star general made comments that were mischaracterized, contradicting, and not true. As you know, a witness who lies to Congress can be convicted of perjury. Publishing these comments without any substantiating evidence was negligent and reckless, especially given that the junior Army staff member who provided context to support the claim in their interview with the IG was blatantly wrong. The claim, quote, one of the things Major General Walker said was that the National Guard had all of their equipment in their trucks, in their vehicles. That is not an accurate statement, end quote. As the IG is aware, then Colonel Craig Hunter, who was the D.C. National Guard's Task Force Guardian commander, testified under oath twice, once to the IG and again to the Select Committee, acknowledging that the D.C. National Guard did, in fact, have their equipment unbeknownst to Army leadership at the time. Even so, these statements remain published as historical record. The IG report concludes that DoD actions to prepare for and respond to the protest at the U.S. Capitol on January 6 were appropriate, supported by requirements, and reasonable in light of the circumstances. However, the subcommittee disagrees with the IG's conclusions following a full investigation into the DoD's actions and inactions on January 6. The subcommittee findings are Secretary McCarthy's failure to communicate the Secretary of Defense's order to the D.C. National Guard commander to immediately deploy forces to the Capitol at 3:04 p.m. Failure of Secretary McCarthy to communicate directly with the D.C. National Guard commander between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. IG report states that the calls took place despite both parties stating under oath that the calls never took place. Failure to review the purpose and significant delay incurred for the development of the con-op that was neither requested, needed, nor utilized, and to this day has never been produced. I don't know what the is that like an operational plan or something? IG finding that the DC National Guard was not prepared for the civil disturbance mission, despite the knowledge that Secretary McCarthy had recently received comprehensive briefings on DC National Guard capabilities and observed rehearsals on civil disturbance operations by DC National Guard personnel. The inability of the IG to adequately review these and other DoD actions on January 6 has informed the subcommittee's finding that the IG is complicit in intentionally concealing DoD actions to delay the National Guard's response to the Capitol on January 6. But they're throwing McCarthy under the bus? That's what Loudermilk is doing? Concept of operations, thank you, was a planning step put in place after career military had discomfort with National Guard use in summer 2020 protests. Okay, thank you so much. Why does Fareed Zakaria still have a job? Let's see. IG finding that the inability of the IG to adequately, The subcommittee appreciates the important work of the inspectors general, and in particular, the DoD IG's commitment to independence, integrity, excellence, and transparency. But that's what you just said they didn't do. So I'm very confused. For that reason, the subcommittee has worked with the IG in good faith to provide multiple opportunities to produce corroborating materials and absolute evidence to support the findings within the report. In comments provided to the subcommittee in response to a discrepancy within the report, the IG responded with, quote, as a fundamental matter, it is neither unreasonable nor unusual that witnesses to particular events, especially involving stressful, fast-paced, and multifaceted activities such as occurred on January 6, may recall certain matters but not others, and their recollections of events may differ from each other. In response to another discrepancy in the report, the IG responded, quote, Secretary McCarthy's description of the circumstances document the frenetic pace under which the Secretary and his immediate staff were operating at that time. As a result, we are not surprised by the Secretary's lack of certainty about whether he spoke with M.G. Walker. Inventing a critical phone call between Secretary McCarthy and Major General William Walker in the absence of any evidence violates all investigative standards. Bye, Carla. 0 stars. That's right. I give it 0 out of 5. Bye, sweetie. A report that includes biased and incomplete statements to favor the DoD and U.S. Army while disparaging the D.C. National Guard fails to represent the IG's philosophy and practice of producing unbiased, objective, impartial, and independent reviews, as well as recommendations grounded in evidence and free from external influence. Therefore, we are left with no choice but to reject report number blah and request that you publish a formal correction on behalf of the 10,432 congressional staff members, 535 members of Congress who donned gas masks and retreated from the House and Senate chambers while D.C. National Guard sat on buses waiting less than 2 miles from the Capitol at the D.C. Armory because of a lack of communication from Secretary Ryan McCarthy. Oh, so this is their way. Loudermilk is trying to point fingers away from everybody but Ryan McCarthy. That's nice. So now we can't trust the IG and we can't. Okay. All right. I get it. Okay. No problem. No probs. Sure. On June 4th, 2024, the subcommittee reached out to the Council of Inspectors General on the Integrity and Efficiency, an independent entity that focuses on addressing integrity and efficiency issues within offices of inspectors general across the federal government, seeking guidance on the revision or retraction of Report Blah. This request was referred to the CIGI, by CIGI to the IG, which has yet to be addressed. In June? In July 2024, CIGI Chairman Greenblatt testified that there is precedent and it is wholly appropriate to take down whatever is wrong and replace it with something that is factually accurate. I don't even understand. I don't understand. How did they get away with all this? Who is on this? Who else is on that fucking committee? Subcommittee respectfully requests a full correction of this report. to ensure the accurate preservation of historical records. As such, we are committed to continuing our good faith relationship with the DoD and IG and look forward to assisting your office in correcting this report. Please provide a written response no later than December 4th. Where's the I'm just like, I don't want to play anymore. Na, 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 na. I want to. Where's the actual fucking report? Where's the fucking report? I love the colorful clothes she wears. IG report on J6. Wait, where's... Oh, this is it. Okay. Here we go. There they are. Right there. Right there. Report November 16th. Oh my God. It's so tiny. Let me just see how big it is. Oh, okay, I get it. Do I get like, oh, okay. Can I do a PDF? I mean, can I download it? What? What? This looks so weird. Oh, here we go. Fuck, man. Just give me the fucking report. I'll deal with it. I'll deal with it. This is it. This is it. Why is this all crossed out? Oh, you got fancy seals. Oh, God. How many pages is this? 152? 152 pages? All right, we may not be reading all of this. But I'm gonna probably record that and read it somewhere. Review of the Department of Defense's... What's the summary? Give me a summary. Oh, wait, here we go. We interviewed 44 witnesses. Christopher Miller, Ryan McCarthy, Kenneth Rapuano, Robert Celestis, Mark Milley, who else? Walter Platt, Charles Flynn. Where's his interview? Where's his interview? Where's his interview? Do we have an interview anywhere? Do we have an interview anywhere? Ah! This is the... Okay, so that's that. Oh, hi. You're back. All right. That's fine. Go ahead. Go ahead. You can do it. I move the candle. The DoD's IG report reflects an alarming failure to adequately evaluate the actions of senior DoD officials, including... Wow, they really only pick on him. Why do they do that? Share link in Discord, please. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Let me do that right now. Let me do that right now. Let's see. This one. I'll link both documents, the response as well as the actual report. Hold on, please. Hold, please. We are now processing. Or the bouncer. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Here's the IG DoD IG report. Right? Oh no, that's wrong. Okay, that's wrong. Meep. Meep. Oh, why is this like this? Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Why can't I just... Can I get a link? Okay. Thank you. Jesus Christ. Okay, so there's the report and Louder Milk response. Where's the letter? Which one is the letter? There it is right there. There. Oh, I hope I shared the right one. No, I think I did. Yeah, I did. All right, this is the louder milk letter. And I'm going to give you the press release because I like lots of things and the press release. Because it says something a little different. There we go. All right. Those are in the Discordio. Lay Discordio. I still don't think we know what the whole mission was on J6. What was Zip Tie's guy? I mean, I think it was... Here's the thing. Uh-oh. What's going on with the covers back there? Oh, my God. What are you doing? I mean, I don't mind if you throw up on my bed. That's fine. But why are you messing the covers up? Yeah, I know. I'm not doing anything. Oh, my God. Catastrophes. I have to take a picture of this cat. Hold on. Come on. I'll show you a picture of my cat. Look at that. Look at that cat. I love this cat. I love this cat. Bye. Oh, Carly, you're leaving. Okay. You left a long time ago. I don't know what it was either. Hey, you're in the way. Are you literally, you're going to lay down there? Is that where you're going to lay down? Silly cat face. I know. It's such a goofy. Anyways. Yikes. Ugh. All right. Let me see what else I got here. Hold on just a second. Okay. Everybody sees. Yeah. You're. All right. Please do not. Oh, no. You're trying to jump. Okay. Where do you want to go? There you go. Okay. Man, my cat bosses. My cat bosses are very bossy. Very bossy indeed. Very, very bossy. Let me see. Where's this one? Nope. Oh yeah, I wanted to read an Empty Wheel piece too this morning. One of her latest. Didn't Trump purge leadership of DOD immediately? Yeah, we just read through the timeline. He cleaned out people. Fired people. This was a plan, okay? This was a plan, and Mike Flynn and Charles Flynn et al. Were part of the planning. That's why in September of 2018, before the midterms, they did EO 13848 so that they could do what they do in international elections, i.e., step in when fraud is perceived. They signed that so that they could do the same thing. Oh no, it's okay. So that they could do the same thing in the United States. That's why fucking Flynn got on TV a few days before the meeting in the Oval Office and said, "We really need to just say, declare martial law." He fucking said this. He said the president should declare martial law and take the machines and rerun the election in states where there's, fraud determinative or whatever. I mean, listen, this is why it's like you can disagree with Jim all you want on details. I don't give a shit. But the bottom line is the role of some of those people has been well documented, and God damn it, that's why people want Jim to be quiet. They sent a Nazi after Gal to shut her up about Matt Gaetz. I watched it happen in real time. All right. Empty Wheel is our favorite. She's so amazing. She's so smart. Pam Bondi. This is from yesterday. This is her It's sub snack weekend. We're doing sub snacks today. We're having subby snacks. And he expedited loads of executions to cheer himself up. Yes, that's right, Carrie. And he stayed inside. We never saw him in public after that. Really. Think about it. Remember? We'd be like, where is he? Like he was in hiding after the election. It's bad, y'all. It's bad. The amount of ignorance or ignoring things, or being a white man and helping another white man. I don't know what all the dynamics are because it doesn't make sense to me when people are suffering and there's a potential for even more suffering. I don't understand that. And that's why I get angry with the belly button obsessed people who are like, it's the Democrats, stupid. When it's not. It's not the Democrats. It's the fucking corrupt Republicans and the oligarchs and the broligarchs. That's who it is. It's not us. Actually, we're the normal ones. We're the normal ones. Bob Menendez was in a courtroom. Okay, we're the normal ones. Here we go. Let's read some real smart. I love smart women. I mean, I love smart people. I don't care really actually what gender they are. I don't care what your gender is or not is. Pam Bondi offers a platform to expose the consequences of Trump's past corruption. Greg Sargent had a column proposing ways for Democrats to really challenge Pam Bondi at her confirmation hearing. He describes it as an opportunity to expose how badly she'll be willing to politicize rule of law. From his piece, Democrats should start thinking right now about the opportunity presented by Bondi's Senate confirmation hearings next year, if they happen. This will be a major occasion to unmask just how far she'll gladly go in corrupting the rule of law and unleashing the state on all the vermin he has threatened to persecute. The Attorney General will be the weaponizer-in-chief of the legal system for Trump, Representative Jamie Raskin, Democrat of Maryland, told me. While I agree with Sargent's premise, Democrats should treat Bondi's confirmation hearing as an opportunity, I disagree with his proposed approach and that espoused by Jamie Raskin, whom he quotes at length. Sargent's focus is on how Bondi would act under predictable eventualities. Quote, Trump has threatened to prosecute enemies without cause. How will Bondi respond when he demands such prosecutions? He has vowed to yank broadcasting rights to punish media companies that displease him and send the military into blue areas for indeterminate pacification missions. His advisors are reportedly exploring whether military officers involved in the Afghanistan mission can be court-martialed. Raskin says Bondi should be confronted on all of this. Ask whether she thinks the First Amendment and due process are any impediment to what Trump has called for. But this is precisely the approach that failed with Bill Barr, who, months after a contentious confirmation hearing, kicked off the process of politicizing DOJ. Most tellingly, Barr was asked questions about the kind of foreseeable eventualities that Sargent described, such as pardons for January 6ers, and it did no good. Patrick Leahy, Amy Klobuchar, and Lindsey Graham all asked Barr whether pardoning someone for false testimony would amount to obstruction. Every time, Barr has at least conceded the potential applicability of obstruction in that case. And then, just months after that hearing, when Barr wrote a declination memo for Robert Mueller's obstruction charge, he simply ignored the pardons. He didn't mention them at all. While it took years for us to learn how he had reneged on his own stated views by simply ignoring them, those setting these expectations never found a way to hold him accountable for the dodge. That said, January 6 committee staffer Thomas Jocelyn, whom Sargent also quotes, gets a bit closer to the approach I'd recommend. Don't ask Bondi whether she'd do something. Make sure you lay out her responsibility for inevitable consequences when she's likely to have untoward effects. Quote, what happens if Trump pardons the Proud Boy leaders who were convicted for seditious conspiracy and instigating the violence, says Tom Jocelyn, lead author of the January 6 committee report, in suggesting lines of questioning for Bondi. What about the dozens of defendants convicted of assaulting cops? Jocelyn adds that pardons for them would provide a major boost to violent far-right extremist groups in this country and would legitimize their cause. Dem should confront Bondi with all of that, make her own every last bit of it. Where I'd add to what Jocelyn suggests is with Trump's past history. Rather than asking Bondi about something we know will happen going forward, political violence from freed militia members, ask her how she'll avoid the negative consequences Trump's past actions already had. Rather than asking Bondi whether she'll be responsible for Proud Boy violence when Trump pardons them, instead note that Bill Barr treated threats the Proud Boys and Roger Stone made against Amy Berman Jackson as a technicality, only to have them plan an insurrection 18 months later. Bill Barr's coddling of Trump's far-right extremists led to a predictable increased threat, an attack on the Capitol. How will you avoid the same mistake? It uses the confirmation hearing to lay out the consequences of past corruption. You can use this approach with pardons more generally. Quote, because Trump didn't properly vet his pardons the first time around, at least 7 of them quickly returned to crime, with many of them beating their spouses. How will you ensure that Trump's bypassing of normal pardon protocol don't put violent men back on the streets? You can pick some of the January 6ers, like hardened criminal Shane Jenkins, who almost had a fundraiser at Bedminster, or neo-Nazi Timothy Hale Cusinelli, who did, to ask Bondi how coddling such criminals is consistent with the law and order promises she makes. Pardons for immigration roundup. Yes. Yes, Teresa. The difference so far is subtle, using the hearing to show past consequences for Barr on Trump's own failures rather than generically predicting future woes. But that difference becomes more important when adopting a more important focus for the hearing. Like the legitimization of far-right extremists that Jocelyn predicts, we can predict a number of other inevitable outcomes from Trump's second term. The most important is that as billionaires like Elon Musk loot the government service will decline precipitously, only exacerbating the alienation of the many people who voted for Trump. And when those same billionaires get impunity from Trump's DOJ, consumers will have their lives ruined. But Trump will work hard to blame scapegoats, liberals, trans people, and unions, rather than the billionaires Trump chose to give direct control over the looting process. Democrats need to build in accountability for the corruption from the beginning. They need to explain that a crash in life quality is the inevitable consequence of Trump's corruption and, just as important, because committed maggots are more likely to turn on others before they turn on Trump, his billionaire appointees, and protected buddies. And Pam Bondi offers a spectacular way to lay that out because she has been involved in protecting the villains who harmed Trump supporters in the past. Quote, Ms. Bondi, these ardent Trump supporters who signed up for Trump University racked up debt but got nothing from their degrees. How will you avoid such abuse of consumers going forward? That's a good one. Ms. Bondi, after you fired the attorneys who are investigating banks foreclosing based on dodgy paperwork, millions of Floridians lost their homes. How will you protect Americans from similar business fraud going forward? Ms. Bondi, after you and Rudy Giuliani made false claims about the vote in Pennsylvania, many of them threw their lives away by attacking the Capitol. How will you ensure that such lies don't harm Trump supporters going forward? There are similar questions she can be asked that will anticipate other actions she's likely to take, like shutting down investigations into Elon Musk's various stock manipulations and false claims. Ms. Bondi, how will you protect consumers who purchased cars falsely sold as self-driving? There are other questions that might get at Bondi's past complicity. Ms. Bondi, why did you and Trump's other impeachment defense attorneys claim Trump's demand for an investigation into Burisma was a pursuit of corruption when Trump's own DOJ had just shut down a 3-year investigation into Mykola Zlochevsky's corruption? But the most important questions can and should be framed in terms of the Trump supporters whom her past corruption has harmed. Democrats are not going to prevent Bondi's confirmation. They're also not going to get reassurances that Bondi will protect the integrity of the department. Bill Barr's prevarications prove that's futile. But they can use the high-profile confirmation process as a way to lay out what should be a relentless message going forward. Corruption hurts the little guy. Trump's past corruption has hurt his supporters. Bondi's past corruption has hurt his supporters. That's what the Republicans who will confirm her should have to own. the inevitable consequences of her protection of Trump's corruption and that of other billionaires who will be swarming his administration. Wow, Luigi. Dang it. Dang it. Let me see. I think I might have one or two more. Man, there's just so much. It's so much. It's so much. Oh, this one. Yeah. I have this one up too. Wait, where's... I have that. Okay. This is a Right-Wing Watch article about Pete Hegseth. I don't know if we're going to have to deal with Pete Hegseth that long. I feel like he's going to be gone soon. But, you know, here we go. Well, I found this morning, and I wanted to read it. There we go. Pete Hegseth. This is from Right-Wing Watch. On Christian nationalism. This is from a few days ago, from November 19th. Pete Hegseth planned to create a Christian nationalist educational insurgency. When Donald Trump announced his intention to nominate Fox News host Pete Hegseth to serve as Secretary of Defense, concerns were raised immediately about Hegseth's undisguised Christian nationalism. Hegseth, who has admitted that his multiple Crusader tattoos got him deemed an extremist by his own National Guard unit, has deep ties to misogynistic Christian nationalist pastor Douglas Wilson. On Monday, Hegseth appeared on the Cross Politic podcast, which is hosted by Toby Sumpter and Gabe Wrench, both of whom are closely tied to Wilson and his church. During the discussion about Hegseth's book, Battle for the American Mind, Hegseth said that he is working to create a system of classical Christian schools to provide the recruits for an underground army that will eventually launch an educational insurgency, in quotes, to take over the nation. Oh my God. This guy? Wow. I think we need to be thinking in terms of these classical Christian schools are boot camps for winning back America, said Sumpter. That's what the crop of these classical Christian schools are going to do in a generation, Hegseth agreed. Policy answers like school choice, while they're great, that's phase 2 stuff later on, once the football has been taken, once the recruits have a graduated boot camp. We call it a tactical retreat, Hegseth continued. We draw out in the last part of the book what an educational insurgency would look like, because I was a counterinsurgency instructor in Afghanistan. And the kind of phases that Mao Zedong wrote about. We're in the middle phase 1 right now, which is effectively a tactical retreat where you regroup, consolidate, and reorganize. And as you do so, you build your army underground with the opportunity later on of taking offensive operations in an overt way. What? What? Obviously. All this is metaphorical and all that good stuff, Hegseth claimed, which promoted both hosts and himself to burst out laughing. Here we go. Here's the dick. May include disinformation and dehumanizing and discriminatory rhetoric.
I think we need to be thinking in terms of these classical Christian schools are boot camps for winning back America. These are
totally.
These are,
and we kind of make that argument by saying it's always been the 1%, 2%, 3%.
That's right.
That and on our side, that's what the crop of these classical Christian schools are going to do in a generation.
Yeah.
Policy answers like school choice, while they're great, that's phase 2 stuff later on. Once the foothold has been taken, once the recruits have graduated boot camp.
But don't you need...
And we call it a tactical
retreat. It's his Christian
Actually,
things.
We draw out in the last part of the book what an educational insurgency would look like, because I was a counterinsurgency instructor in Afghanistan, and kind of the phases that Mao wrote about.
Yeah.
And we're in middle phase 1 right now, which is effectively a tactical retreat where you regroup, consolidate, and reorganize.
Yep.
And as you do so, you build your army underground with the opportunity later on of taking offensive operations in an overt way. Mm-hmm. And obviously all of this is metaphorical and all that good stuff, but but you're exactly right. I share that same optimism.
All right. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Okay, so that's him. That's him. That's Petey Hegseth. More reasons. And I still believe that these appointments are just kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall. I mean, they're certainly intentional appointments, don't get me wrong. But there's almost an anticipation that they're just going to be laughed at, right? And I don't hold any expectations about us having a normal confirmation process. I almost think there's going to be lame excuses to just bypass that. You know what I mean? And there'll be, and also I think there's still an opportunity for him to do recess appointments, I think. So there's that. I want to see. Let me see. Check the. The New York Times is lost. It's just lost its way. It's lost its way. Just lost its way. Yikes. Yikes. Oh, but let's talk about pardoning turkeys. That's what they're talking about. There's a whole article about let's end this turkey pardoning nonsense. Wow, I must be way out of it. I must be like way out of like reality. Because everybody's acting like everything's normal, which I'm not saying it's not normal, because that's what life does, is even if shit's happening to you, life goes on kind of thing. But it just feels very much like we're ignoring what's happening here. I can't. Oh my God. TYT? Oh, New York Times, you mean? Or also, the Young Turks are idiots. I'm sorry. Ops, all of them. Ops. Not real. They don't give a shit about anybody except for themselves, and they're working for someone else. No, TYT is also fucking dead. The digital part, they certainly are winning. The other reason they won, we don't have 24/7 so-called news programs. It's so true, butterflies. We don't, I really keep saying that. I think we need more people. Yeah, we need more people on the left, I guess, or not Nazis. We need more not Nazis with shows like mine. Like, get out there. Turn on the go live and just talk about stories that matter to you. Like, we need more of this. That's what I think. I don't know. I mean, it can't hurt. Right? Right? It can't hurt. God damn. All right. Well, no. You did. You actually said it perfectly. You said it perfectly. You nailed it, butterflies. You nailed it. Fuck, man. Dumb country. It was the disinformation, stupid, because the disinformation. Okay, so let me explain to you where my head is at when it comes to this. Okay, the reason I'm like, populism or whatever, the Democrats didn't connect with the working class. Okay, that's the premise. There's where they start. Where the pundits start is the Democrats didn't understand the voting public, right? And that may or may not be actually true, but why? Why did they choose and think that Trump was going to make their lives better? Why? Why did they think that? Why? You know why they thought about it? Because of disinformation. That's why. That's why they thought that. That's why they voted like that. Because they were lied to about what was actually happening. God, this feels so fucking obvious. Nobody addressed the lies, Carrie. Nobody did. Nobody did. Exactly, Max. Fox News alone has been pushing an alt reality for decades. Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, it was real, like the disillusionment, the pain, the suffering, the high prices. Some of that is real, but in relation to where prices have been and what we were in, we were moving out of it. And now seniors have $35 insulin. Seniors and disabled people on Medicare have access to medicines at a more reasonable cost. That's real. That's real. So yeah, I mean, we can complain about what Kamala didn't do, blah 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 blah, and I have, criticisms too, but at the end of the day, if we don't acknowledge disinformation as something that changes people's reality, I mean, really, come on, media. It seems, and I'm telling you, I'm fighting with everybody, even on Blue Sky and The Nice Place. Which, by the way, let's stop pumping up fucking platforms. They're all owned by rich fuckers, okay? So no platform is a fucking panacea. There's just as many shitheads on Blue Sky as there was on Twitter. It's just that we don't have full frontal nudity right at the moment. Okay? If something happened to Putin, would that mess up Trump's agenda? I don't know. Butterflies. I don't know easily. I really don't know. I really don't know. And see, the thing is butterflies, I might disagree slightly with you. I think there are people that can be trusted. I think it is around adhering to conventions, right? Like protecting. It's almost like if you ever worked in management, you also got a sense in management that the managers would protect each other, right? Okay, let's just call a thing. Like managers would kind of, stand up for each other. That's why when executives are fired, they're given a parachute, right? When executives are fired, that's a way of like this white kind of man thing making a soft landing for other white men who may have done, and white women, right? Or anybody who may have done something wrong. That's what we do as humans. We protect each other when we're of a similar class or whatever the perception is of how we're the same, right? So that's what I think is behind a lot of this, like, allowing shit to happen and not holding the planners of J6 accountable, is because you're kind of all on the same basic team of you're above. And so I think there are good politicians, and I think that as someone who goes, who's been in management and other things, I think the machine can also push down good leaders, right? So I don't know. I think, I really think we have to have a serious conversation about disinformation. I'm sorry. I know it's a broken record. Nobody wants to talk about it. But I'm going to tell you right now, we better fucking talk about it because it's how we got here. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it. It's one of the main reasons we're here. The main reasons we're here is disinformation. Disinformation about COVID, disinformation about the economy, disinformation about Democrats, disinformation about the justice system, disinformation. All right. Okay. Oh my God. All right. Tonight, I'm going to be on Twitter's We're going to be on X out of space at 5 Pacific, like we always are every Monday at 5. Yeah, talking about strategy. Oh, podcast called Black Utopia yesterday. Very eye-opening, talking about strategies to survive 47. That's really good. I mean, don't take them for their word and research for yourself. Absolutely. Butterflies, you're absolutely correct. If we paid more attention to politicians that represent us and whether or not they're representing our interests, you're absolutely right that if we actually got into that place and worked more at the local level to influence our representatives, that's definitely probably an area where we don't collectively do a great job. But we really do. We have to deal with disinformation. We have to deal with the disinformation war. And it's like people are bored by that or tired of hearing it or whatever it is or don't believe it or whatever. But this is where we are. And I see it. You guys, I mean, I think a lot of people see it. I just don't understand why it's so taboo. Why is it so taboo to talk about that? Is it because we're scared of being called conspiracy theorists or something? I don't even get that. I just like to understand what is at play around me. And I think the ability to, no. We have a lot of good politicians. Absolutely, butterflies. Oh, I totally know what you meant, though. I'm sorry. I don't disagree with you at all. I think we do need to understand. I think that's what's been so eye-opening about our stuff, watching together and watching as many congressional hearings as we have. I feel like we've learned a lot about who some of these representatives are. Not all of them, but you get a better picture. And I agree with you. I think people need to understand who is representing them in Congress. Exactly. It needs to be a major project from now on. Flooding the zone causes people to disengage and become apathetic. Exactly, Max. It's the intention. They don't want us, it's hard to continue to focus on this stuff when you feel like nothing is going to improve, right? And so people then start to get annoyed from hearing about it, like, okay, enough with the disinfo. Yeah, we get it. Well, but we don't get it because we haven't done anything about it. We haven't done anything about it. So, not even close. Not even close. I fear what's coming, yet ready to say they wanted this. I think there's going to be a lot of that schadenfreude, that's going to be real tempting and stuff like that. And I'm going to engage in it. I'm going to end up engaging in it. When somebody gets the full effect of what this government intends, and it's someone who didn't expect it, someone who deserves it, but didn't expect it, I'm not going to be unhappy about that. Now, I don't want bad things to happen to people because guess what? That's not what we do on the left. We don't wish bad things upon people because we understand that if bad things happen to some people, they'll happen to all of us. Okay? When it happens to one of us, it's going to eventually happen to all of us. And if you have privilege to survive a certain amount of time, congratulations. But you should be thinking about the people who don't have that privilege. And so for their case, I don't want to make jokes about, oh, well, you're going to get what you deserve, because a lot of people are going to get what they don't deserve. And I don't want to belittle that. I don't want to belittle that. But it's going to be tempting to be like, God damn it, this is what you voted for. How are you doing now? How are you doing when your grandma, who was going to have a $2,000 cap on her medications for the year, all of a sudden that program was cut because Vivek Ramaswamy decided, the flim flam man, the guy that sold bad drugs in Silicon Valley, the guy who took failed drugs and repackaged them so that he could get more VC funding to try and relaunch duds. That's who Vivek Ramaswamy is. I heard, but not sure, Biden is already pardoning generals. I haven't heard anything about that. I don't imagine we would hear much about that. Psychology warfare, yeah. So, yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of we need more people like us. We need more people like us to turn the live on and flood the zone with information and laughter and smart humor and smart people. We need more of this. If we do say ourselves. No. But I mean, that's not my point. My point is that I want more voices. I want a lot more voices. I want a lot more voices. And I think Twitter is dying, which actually is going to be a good thing. I'm over on Twitter as much as I am on Blue Sky, and I can definitely tell that the engagement on Twitter is now just like MAGA talking to MAGA. It's very little of us, which feels dumb, but Blue Sky is. I also re-energized my Mastodon account last night and updated that. So just in case Blue Sky run over to Mastodon. Ah, I don't know. Billionaires. Fuck billionaires. All right. Anyway, thank you for coming. Thank you so much for coming. I hope I hear you tonight at 5, or at least see your little icon somewhere in the room. I'll be looking for you. Those people are addicted to angertainment. Yep, it's an addiction. That's a dopamine. It fucking is. I'm telling you right now. And it's the whole YouTube streets too, right, Max and Butterflies? You know what I'm talking about. The whole of YouTube streets is about angertainment. It's not about substance. Nobody has a show. Everybody's just getting online to talk shit about each other. Right? Yeah. Blue Sky is based on the Mastodon architecture, all on many surveys. But the problem is, Tom, it's owned by a broligarch. Hopefully Dems won't keep paying Elon. I hope not. I mean, I think it's going to die by the end of the year. That's what I'm going to, or it's just going to become like a telegram. You know, it'll just become a telegram. I am addicted to news drops. Yes, Paul. Me too. Me too. Guilty. Yes, thank you, Teresa. Thank you. All right, thanks again for coming, guys. I'll update the description with all the links we went through today, and hope to hear from you tonight, or at least see your icon in the room. I'll be looking. Anyway, thank you again for coming. Have a great Monday. All right, just fuck everybody, okay? Just fuck them all. Fuck them all.